Minnesota Get-Together, or the Minnesota State Fair, happens every single year at the end of August. I remember humid afternoons filled with the smells of hot concrete and every fried food imaginable. Because it is called the Great Minnesota Get-Together, it seemed like every single Minnesotan would attend. And the streets would just be filled with so many people. I went to the fair every single year when I was a kid, and I only realized how unique it was to Minnesota upon moving to California. I don't know if any of you guys have been to the farmer's market, but it is similar in that there are vendors that line the streets with people in between. But the fair also had rides, concerts, and shows. I lived in Minnesota for 14 years and moved this summer before high school. And every single year we do a different mix of events at the fair, but I want to highlight some of the ones that I feel as though showcase the unique aspects of Minnesota. One memory I had from the fair was this building called the Butterfly House. It was this building with what seemed to me as a kid filled with thousands of monarch butterflies. So much so that they even had monarch butterflies painted on the side of the building. And when you'd walk in, you'd have to walk through 2 nets because you didn't want to leave with any of the butterflies, of course. And they'd give you food in the beginning, and if you stood really still, butterflies would slowly start to land all over you. And I remember when I was little, I felt like a Disney princess, so much so that I felt like I could just sing. And I can't talk about Minnesota or the Minnesota State Fair without mentioning some of the food. Every single year, we'd go to Sweet Martha's Cookies after dinner at sunset, without a doubt. And these are the best cookies I have ever had in my life. I have yet to eat anything that even comes close to how good they are. They'd give you a bucket, and they'd fill it so high, with chocolate chip cookies, of course, that you couldn't even put the lid on it. And I remember we'd eat it while walking through the park, just enough so that we could put the lid back on it when we drive back home. And because we'd eat them at sunset, when you'd be walking through the park, the lights of the ride would slowly start to come on. So it would just seem like the whole vista of the fair would just seem like something that came out of a dream. The monarch butterflies and the warm cookies during the cool nights were some of the most memorable parts of the fair. And I can't capture all of the events that I did at the fair, but I feel as though these highlight some of the unique aspects of Minnesota. The nature, which are the monarch butterflies that would migrate through Minnesota, and although someone could get freshly baked cookies everywhere, I feel as though Sweet Martha's Cookies is unique to Minnesota and something worth mentioning. I haven't visited since I've moved to California, unfortunately, but I would like to go back for one summer to revive my favorite family tradition, because these memories are something that I'll always cherish forever.